I'm so sorry, everybody. Hope there's somebody here and that you gave me a minute. I'm so sorry. I got a little behind here. So, as far as this case that has been lacking of information from the very beginning, it feels as if today we got quite a bit. And it's not a lot, but it is a lot considering any other day since this started, I believe anyway. I'm just going to say before we look into these, before we watch these videos, I want to say that quite honestly, we're now hearing that, the door when Lainey got up that day, the door was open. Then we heard that or the father had the baby. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't believe anything that I've heard at this point. Not a single word. And I think that probably the police they must have some kind of surveillance footage. That would be really weird if they didn't, because there's always cameras everywhere. But I think that probably they have a lot more than that they're putting out, and that's probably best. I'm just gonna say, I mean, what do you do with this? I think there's complete nonsense going on here, is what I think. But we do have a copy. The police department has denied access to any body camera. That's not the right body cam from the police officers that day. They're not going to release any of that. They're not releasing the 911 call. That tells us that there's obviously a lot there that they need to, to not compromise. So, but we do have a video of what the dispatch, told the officers regarding the 911 call. Sorry about that. So I'm going to play that for us. First. And sorry that I'm not on screen. I had my baby today, so I have not fixed myself up, and sorry about that, but you don't want to see me, I can tell you that. Okay, we're going to listen to this video real quick here.
Dozens of local and federal agents are combing through our area for this little boy missing since Wednesday. We're talking about 20-month-old Quinton Simon.
We want to get right out to our Nakaya Carrero now live at the Chatham County Police headquarters. Nakaya, talk us through the new updates that you have this morning.
Frank, Olivia, for the very first time since Quinton Simon was reported missing, we are hearing what 911 dispatchers told police officers the morning he disappeared.
We have a signal 56. Complaint about her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open, but he's unable to open the door. Saying someone came in and took him.
Another update this morning, Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley is now saying they're looking into everybody and everything, making the first mention of a potential criminal case.
We're looking at it from multiple fronts, and one of it being a criminal investigation, as well as, a missing child at this point. We don't have anything confirmed, so we can't say anything absolutely.
We spotted Chatham County police officers and FBI agents at the boys' home on Buckhalter Road yesterday. They were searching the home again and even draining the pool. All this as they continue to work to figure out what happened to little Quinton. Don't forget, Chatham County Police has also set up a tip line. It goes directly to the detective on this case. The number is on your screen. It's 912-667-3134. We also have that number for you on our website, wjcl.com. And here's another look at Quinton. He was last seen at that home off Buckhalter Road in Chatham County last Wednesday morning. If you have any information, call that tip line. Again, it's 912-667-3134. Frank, Olivia?
Hey, Nakia, while we have you out there, what about the 911 call made by the mother? Have we received that call yet?
Well, Frank, we requested the 911 call from Chatham County Police Department, but Chief Hadley told WJCL 22 that they don't want to release that call because it is an ongoing investigation and they don't want to compromise the case. Frank, Olivia, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Our Nakia Carrero live.
Okay, so yes, now we hear that the door was open. Again, I don't know what that tells anybody else. For me, I guess that is explaining a little bit what's going on with the pool. Now, I don't know. Last week during the time in the timeline, it says that there were divers in the pool, which I found to be extremely odd. And then yesterday they were draining the pool. I can't even imagine what kind of shape that pool is in if all of that is necessary. And I guess I'm also assuming that because she said the door was open. And obviously they have to go with what information they have. I understand that. Again, I don't believe anything she says. I don't know what I don't think you can believe anything at all. And Billy Joe's Facebook is now private. I can't see anything on there anymore. But I know that yesterday she had posted something asking for help with her pool, which is, it appears that the law enforcement helped her with the pool. But, you have to wonder about that because if your grandchild's missing, you haven't obviously worried about taking care of the pool prior to this. Now all of a sudden you're worried about it. There's something odd with that. And in my opinion, I have been as gracious as I can to these people. And this is all clearly just my own opinion, but this is ridiculous. Everything about this is ridiculous. And I still don't understand, where is mom? Why haven't we seen any part of her? If my child was missing, I would be begging and pleading everywhere. And that's what you typically see. So I don't know. This is just really, it just turns into more nonsense, if you ask me, on every day. But I am going to show, we have video of the grandma, Billy Joe, and the babysitter having their altercation. So I'm going to show that now. Is there anything else? Is that what works for you guys? Do you want me to do that now? Or do you have something to add? Would you guys like me to add a link and you can come in? You can just let me know. Okay, I don't hear anything from anyone, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It's pretty ridiculous, actually.
exclusive video of a heated exchange between two people connected to a missing 20-month-old.
Quinton Simon has not been seen since last Wednesday morning.
Quinton was last seen at the home where he lived with his mother, her boyfriend, siblings, and grandparents. The house is located on Burkhalter Road in West Chatham County.
Lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington has been breaking new details in the story since Quinton went missing. Brett is joining us live now tonight from Chatham County Police Headquarters with the entire video of the confrontation between Quinton's grandmother and a babysitter, as well as new information in this case.
And Tina, we've learned tonight from that babysitter that Quinton Simon was part of a Department of Family and Children's Services case. That babysitter told me she talked to DCFS, and so did other people in that neighborhood.
This is my baby, not yours.
This video is absolutely jarring.
Hit me. You think I would do that?
It shows the desperation of the people who love Quinton Simon.
You're awful to say you're going to put a memorial. My baby's not dead.
Quinton's grandmother in Quinton's babysitter's house. The intense moments recorded by Dana McCarta's daughter. Dana says Quinton's grandmother barged through her back door, mad over the thought of a memorial for the missing toddler.
My baby's not dead.
I think that she's trying to take the heat off of them.
Diana talking with us today, telling me she's called Georgia's Department of Family and Children's Services about Quinton and his siblings before. DFACS told you there was a case.
Yes, absolutely.
Diana isn't the only neighbor here to tell us they were concerned about the children in this home.
I was afraid she was going to get hit.
We tried to get Billy Joe Howell's side of this story. She didn't answer her phone since yesterday, when federal investigators, firefighters, and Chatham police drained Quinton's grandparents' backyard pool. Grandmother Billy Joe Howell's Facebook had a post asking for help getting that pool fixed. It's been deleted.
I should not have been out of town. You did. You shouldn't have.
But the emotions in this neighborhood, they haven't gone anywhere.
I want to see that on the news. Oh, it's going to be.
We learned from Chatham County Police today that they have evidence in this case, evidence that they believe will take them to the next step or break in the case. They didn't tell us what that evidence is. We do know that they have cell phone data and that they've collected evidence from Quinton's home, but we don't know what that cell phone data told them or what they took from that home. We are live tonight at Chatham County Police Headquarters. I'm Brett Buffington, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Okay, so I guess, what we see from there, other than, a lot of dysfunction, and I'm not quite sure. Part of it is a lot of emotion. I can completely understand some of that. Other than finding out that, clearly Billy Joe knew that there were issues with those children. That's why she had custody of them. But she also had asked for them to leave. And according to the babysitter, she was told about marks on them, and the whole neighborhood knew that they weren't being taken care of. So, it's a little, I have to agree that maybe the babysitter is right as far as trying to take the focus off of them. And I was very happy to hear that the babysitter had spoke to DCF, I guess it is there where I'm from. It's CPS, because that was concerning that if, these things were happening and she wasn't contacting anybody. To me, I think I would just call the police, but I don't know that she didn't. And then they just refer it to them. I'm not quite sure how that all goes. I've never been involved in it, but it was alarming to find out that she knew all this stuff and it didn't sound like she had reported it. but she obviously had. And I do think that probably a lot of people did. I know immediately after this case came out, the one neighbor who didn't want to be on, show her face on camera, she did say, and she was actually very emotional. And she said the kids are out there a lot, unattended, and they were all nervous about it. So this seems to be something that happened on a regular basis. And then you have a pool that's not cared for, much like, a pool that's cared for or not is a very dangerous and scary thing to have with children around. But if it's not cared for to the degree that you have to put divers in it, I mean, I've never heard of that. I found that very odd last week when we talked about this. And every once in a while, I think that maybe we've just misunderstood things. Many things with the timeline that I read over, I just kept finding myself thinking, that's not the way I thought things had happened. And, one of those being, of course, that we understood that they had been given eviction notices, but I didn't think it was for the children. I would have think that's the one thing you're not allowed to take with you. Yeah, you can gladly leave, but you're not taking these kids. It would be where I would be coming from. But I don't know. I'm starting to think that it's just a generational thing. I don't believe that there's been a whole lot of a good environment for anybody. And that may sound really ugly. That's just simply my opinion. I don't think that things have gone well. I don't know that Billy Joe had custody of all of her kids. I don't know that. I don't know that she didn't. But it sounds like it's been a generational situation, if you ask me. It's just a lot going on. And it's so, so sad. And how many times do you just not know about it? But the whole neighborhood knew about it. And that is actually quite telling. Whenever the whole neighborhood can tell something's not good, then it's just probably not. And what do? You can't, it's one of those things. You're constantly like, okay, well, everybody knew this was a bad deal. We just didn't think this would happen or that would happen. We don't ever know when it's going to happen. And nobody wants to accuse somebody of something just because you have a past or just because you are whatever it is you are. That doesn't mean you don't love your children. Most people do. With with their whole heart, with everything in them. They love their children. But even sometimes just because you love them doesn't mean that you're taking care of them. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't believe a single thing that anybody involved here is saying. I don't. And I think that probably the police have found things on phones, that are contradicting what they've been told. And of course it's contradicting if she said she woke up and the door was open, and then, we heard that she said he was with his father. Well, we know that wasn't true. I would say as far as the Lonnie's character, what would you believe from her? I don't know. I wouldn't believe anything, quite honestly. And sadly, I don't even know what I believe from Billy Joe either. And that's a really sad thing because, again, I know how I feel about my grandkids, and she really broke my heart originally. But I absolutely know that nobody gets to abuse them. Not their parents, not my children. Nobody gets to. Not one damn person. So I don't know. So nobody's saying anything. We do have the latest update on this case that I can play this video. And again, you guys want to let me know anything that you want me to talk about, anything you want to see or whatever. I can do whatever you want. Kinda. I'm gonna play this last video.
Tonight, we continue to follow the disappearance of little Quinton Simon, keeping you aware of any updates. Our Andy Cole has been following this story from the very start. He joins us now live from Chatham County Police Headquarters. Andy, tell us what's the latest.
Hey, good evening, Shannon. Police tweeted today that they have seized evidence that they believe will help move this case forward. But I talked to a legal analyst who said it may be phones, just like this one, that helped find Quinton Simon.
Every day that goes by, unfortunately, the hopes dwindle that there could be a happy outcome.
As we near 1 week since Quinton Simon disappeared, police announced Tuesday that they're analyzing new evidence they found during their recanvassing Monday. Police didn't say what they found or where they found it, but we do know they have looked into the phones of those close to the child. Former prosecutor and police officer turned lawyer Philip Holloway tells WJCL 22 News it's digital forensics that will help paint a picture of this investigation.
They're going to look at everybody's digital footprint, so to speak. They're going to look and see where they've been, what they've been doing, who they've been texting, who have they been calling, who have they been emailing. And they're going to try to piece together the activities of every person who had access to this child.
We told you Monday that Chatham County denied WJCL's open records request for the initial 911 call from Quinton's 22-year-old mom, Leilani. Holloway believes that call has incredible investigative value.
The fact that they are not releasing it tells me that it's a very big piece of this. It tells me that they are looking very closely at that call and that they are trying to look at the veracity, the truthfulness of what was stated to dispatchers in that call. It's a big piece of it.
Regardless, Holloway says the search for Quinton won't stop until it's been solved.
They are not going to stop until they solve this case. And it might be with old-fashioned shoe leather. It may be with digital evidence or trace forensic evidence or some combination, I think most likely, of all of those things. They're not going to give up.
Andy, lots to uncover there. Did police pass along any other new information to you today?
Yeah, not much more than the tweet I referenced earlier today. We did request an interview with Police Chief Jeff Hadley, but he did not make time, or he was not available for us. It's important to note that this is still a missing child case. Police have said that they are looking at it from multiple angles, but at this time, there's still no suspects. Shannon?
All right, Andy, thanks so much for that report. We will, of course, stay on top of this story.
So they do have some evidence, and I think that's probably probably a good guess that it is to do with the cell phones and hopefully some kind of surveillance cameras in the area. You know, I was surprised to see or to hear that boyfriend went to work at 6 a.m. that morning. That's kind of weird because he was back there at 9 when they asked the babysitter if she had seen Quinton. So, and I was under the impression nobody worked really. I mean, other than grandma and apparently grandpa, I guess. I don't know. Billy Joe's husband. But that all seemed a little bit strange that he went to work at 6. To me, it seemed strange, but he was back home. So I'm assuming that whatever they were told, whatever the police were told, they were probably able to debunk fairly easily between cameras and or cell phones. So, and maybe that gives them some place to look, but it seems like they're awfully interested in that pool. Well, clearly they are. And that's just weird. And it's scary to think if that poor baby was in that nasty pool. Safe to say that he's not okay. And more than likely, he's not alive. And again, all I want to do is just pray that he didn't suffer, because I think he clearly did suffer. If he had belt marks on his neck, he didn't have the life that we want our children, our grandchildren to have. That clearly didn't happen. So I don't know. We did get a little bit today. And I have heard speculation today. People say that they think that there's very soon going to be an arrest. And that's going to be very nice, quite honestly. Because I think you could actually find charges for everybody in that house. I can't imagine that you couldn't. Because, I believe you're responsible when you're involved. And again, if grandma had custody, why did you leave him with somebody that you felt you had to take custody from? That doesn't make any sense. So, regardless of everything, it's a very, very sad thing. It's very sad. And every time you look at that poor baby's face, you just goes through you. It hurts. It does me. I have a hard time. And like I said the other day, he's become all of our child. We all have a vested interest in this boy, and we need to see this through. And we need to make sure that Leilani or any of them don't end up getting by with something. That's my opinion anyway. Does anybody have anything, excuse me, to say? Would anybody like to come up and give thoughts or anything like that? I don't see anybody in the chat, so I don't know what 3 of you have hung around. I do appreciate it, though. If the 3 of you are not subscribed, please push subscribe. That would actually put me right at 100. That would be awesome. So if you guys don't have anything else you want from me, then I guess I will end this. And I want to thank you very, very much for your support. And I want to ask you to please come back and please give me feedback. If there's something I need to do, you want me to do, please let me know. I will do it. Okay, thank you so much. And again, please, prayers for Quinton.